Hi, I'm Tom from Mission Media Coach. Sometimes you may be asking yourself, what difference would it make if I just bought this one piece of gear for my mobile filmmaking kit? Or if I could only purchase a few things to really improve my filmmaking quality, what would they be? And those are great questions. We decided to create a sample video and shoot it twice, so we could see what difference it might make between a zero budget project and something that had a few little pieces of gear, a low budget version. So here's what we used to do it. First off, we used a Xiaomi Poco F1 smartphone, which is kind of a medium lower priced smartphone. Android shoots really good video though. And then I added two things. I added two apps to it that were both free apps. One of them is called Open Camera, which is an app that gives you manual controls of your camera. And the other one was called UCut, which is a free video editing piece of software. Okay, that's it. Shot, edited on that phone. For the low budget version, we added some other things. I added Filmic Pro as a shooting app for the camera that gives me good manual controls. It's a professional app. I added a little LED light. I added a $15 camera rig. I added a little clip-on telephoto lens to help with the filming. Some other odds and ends like that. And you'll see what difference it makes, or if you think it makes a difference, when you watch the second version. The basic idea of the story is we wanted to create a very bad day for our character Jerry. And the point of a video like this is to make people smile, post it, make them smile, ask them to engage around perhaps some kind of a question around the video that it might pose. For instance, if Jerry's having a really bad day, do you sometimes wonder where God is? So this was not highly researched and carefully crafted. It's just really a fun way to show off the techniques. We had 7 scenes that we shot in the story, and what we did, it works out about the right length. It's around 2 minutes long, which is good for social media. We grabbed a few pieces of gear, recruited some actors and found some locations where we were, and we went to work, okay? Very, very simple production. So I'll show the first version, which is the zero budget bare phone version. And you can look at it and I'll then talk about what I see in it as a filmmaker. Things that I think work just fine, things that I'd like to improve, if I could just add a few pieces of gear. So here we go. This is Jerry's Very Bad Day, zero budget version.
Hello. The boss wants to see me. Okay, I'll be right there.
Yeah, Fred, I got the report you sent to me. Oh, just like I think Jerry's here. Come on in.
Yeah, it's Jerry. I'll be right back to you.
Hey, Jerry, can you grab that box, fill it with your stuff from your desk, and go on home? You're done.
Yeah, I just had to leave, let Jerry go. Yeah, I know. Anyway, let's get back to the report. Get back to something important.
This is for real. Nothing personal.
So what did you think? I'm mostly interested in a few things when I look at a video like that. I want to know, does the story work? Does it tell a story? Does the story make sense? Does it entertain you? Does it engage you? Do you want to watch it? Beyond those things, from a technical standpoint, I look for things like, Are shots in focus? Does the audio sound okay? Is the exposure okay? It's not too bright or too dark. Are the edits clean? Is there anything really distracting about it, like bad audio, bad cuts, soft focus, really bad acting, something like that? Now, I'm not trying to make an award-winning film here, just a little film that works pretty well, okay? So, what do we think about it? I think it does tell a story clearly enough, sequence of events that make sense. It has some fun and relatable moments, and also a range of some humor and some seriousness at the end, right? I think the picture looks pretty good overall. Things are in focus, things are seem exposed pretty well. The sound is okay, but not great in some scenes, and it feels like it was competently done, right? It's not totally professional, high-budget production, but it works okay. And remember, this was all done with just the bare phone in my hands, including shooting and editing. So there are things, though, that I would like to improve. I could add a few things here and there in the scenes to make maybe the lighting more interesting, or just to improve the image quality for the camera. I could make maybe the camera motion smoother some places. Definitely, I could record better audio. Audio is a super important part of storytelling. And I could make the edit a little bit better with a few tools in a cheap editing app. All right? So here is the low budget version of Jerry's Very Bad Day with the addition of a few extra little toys.
Hello? The boss wants to see me. Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay, Fred. Yeah, I got the report you sent to me. Oh, just a second. I think Jerry's here. Come on in. Yeah, it's Jerry. I'll be right back with you. Hey, Jerry, can you take that box and pack up all your stuff and you can go home. You're done for now. Yeah, I just had to get rid of Jerry. Okay, Fred, let's get back to that report.
This is for real. Nothing personal.
So, can you spot some differences? Was it a lot better? Was it somewhat better? Some audiences may or may not care all that about huge production value, depending on the context you're in and the other things that are out there for media for people to watch. I want to walk through a few scenes side by side to show you what I was thinking and what I did in an attempt to sort of make it better. As I was filming, I thought, oh, if I just add this, it'll make it tell a better story, it'll make it look better, something like that. So you can see how the additional tools that I chose made a difference. Okay, let's try it. The first scene is in the kitchen. Now the kitchen scene may not feel all that different. There's no really huge important dialogue that I needed to capture, but I did want to make the lighting a little bit more interesting. I added a small LED light, like this one, right off the camera to fill in the shadows on Jerry's face. I also used a small Ulanzi camera rig to hold the camera to give me a better grip on the camera. Makes the shot a little bit more steady. It's still a handheld shot, so it's not intended to be super smooth, but it improves the scene a little bit. The next scene in Jerry's office, Jerry gets a call, so we have on-camera audio. So here's what the bare audio sounds like.
Hello. The boss wants to see me. Okay, I'll be right there.
And you can hear a lot of room echo and things like that. And here's the audio with a little tiny $10 clip-on lavalier mic that I clipped just underneath his collar.
Hello? The boss wants to see me. Okay, I'll be right there.
Now, I think there's a big difference in the quality of the audio there, how clear his voice is. So just the addition of a little microphone hidden under his shirt, tied into the camera, makes a big difference to me. I also added a little light from the side. The camera's just like more light, and it's a little bit cleaner and more interesting.
Okay, Fred. Yeah, I got the
The
report.
boss's office carries the same basic idea as the other office scene. The bare bones version is just that, whatever light was available, and I wanted to try to keep the camera close to the actors who were speaking dialogue so that I could get acceptable audio. Remember, the #1 rule of good audio is to get the microphone close to the subject. So in this case, the microphone is on the phone, get the phone close to the actor, they can capture better dialogue. It's not great. It wasn't really close enough, but I can understand it in the bare bones version. It's a simple scene with 2 angles, right? A shot of the boss, a shot of Jerry. When we did it again, we added a mic for the boss's dialogue. Again, a little clip-on lavalier mic connected right to the camera so I can hear his voice more clearly. And then I added a LED light to fill in from the side so the light's not just coming from the overhead lights. And then I clipped on a little 2x telephoto lens, this lens right here. I clipped it onto the camera, and what that lets me do is get a tighter view of the actor. If I came in really close to the actor, the lens on that camera is really wide and sort of distorts their face, makes it look kind of weird. But if I stick a 2x lens on it, it makes it a narrow field of view. I don't see as much of the office, and I think it works a little bit better. One important thing we want to do with actors is we want to see their faces so that we can see the emotion in the scene. So a little tighter shot gives me more emotion. I want to jump ahead to the arriving home at night shot in the parking lot. It's really hard to shoot in dim light, okay? Even high-end phones, some of them boast their quality, you know, at night and things like that. But the little camera I had kind of struggles with that, so it's a little bit noisier. And I wanted to do a little crane move, kind of the camera rising up, so it's a little bit shaky. And there's a lot of noise in that picture because it's so dark. The camera had to crank up its ISO, its sensitivity, so it gets all kind of grainy with noise. In the next version, I added our little LED light off to the side, like it's a street light or moonlight or something like that, so it brightens the scene, so that means I can lower the ISO on the camera. It makes a cleaner picture, I think. The other thing that I did is I cheated a little bit, and I used an inexpensive gimbal. So one of these guys that you hold in your hand, you mount the phone in it, and it makes the camera sort of float. I wanted to use one of those just as a little crane move, so it was a smoother shot. The bare bones version was okay, but the having that real smooth sort of look was something I just wanted to try. So I pulled out about an $80 gimbal to try that out on that shot. The scene at Jerry's apartment door is supposed to be at night. It happens right after the parking lot scene. So it has to be dim light to sort of match. But that, again, stretches the camera's capabilities. The bare phone version is kind of all right, but it's really dark. His face is really dark. The note on the door isn't very clear. I kind of had to brighten it with the editing app to see it, and you can tell that. So when we went to reshot it, we bounced an LED light off the ceiling to kind of add some general light to it. And then we added this little tiny LED light here we added one of these just on his face, and just my partner just held it kind of near him, and it brightens up so I can see the emotion on his face again. And it makes a lot of difference. It's a very, very tight space. We shot it just in a few minutes, run and gun, but it did improve it, adding a couple little things like that. Inside Jerry's apartment at night, the final scene, it's dark, it's night, the camera doesn't like darkness, so I avoided the hallway and sort of concentrated on the bathroom where we could turn a light on. And the mirror is cool, but I have very limited space if I want to see his reflection in there without seeing my own reflection with the camera, looking at myself in the mirror. So it's really one angle of Jerry and then one angle of the water running down the sink. Now, if I added a little LED light in the bedroom, I just put it on a stand, shined it in. It's kind of blue like moonlight or nightlight or something like that. And then, so I can see him walking down the hallway and see a little bit more action happening. And then I added on the little clip-on telephoto lens. And again, I want to see the emotion on his face. It's a serious scene. It's the end of the day. You can see he's depressed, he's stressed. And in order to get close to him without seeing myself in the mirror, I put that little lens on there. It lets me get a tighter shot, more emotion in the scene, tighter framing, better for that emotion of the shot. And I think it worked pretty well. As you might notice, the differences between the two videos can be subtle sometimes. We were trying to add just a few simple things and not making it a huge production. For a story like this, a little outreach video, you don't need to make it a huge production. I think it's most important to get stories out and engage with people and connect with people on social media. So sometimes, quite often in most contexts, it's not as important that they have massive production quality. You aren't really competing with big movies. You're competing with other videos on YouTube and things like that. So you can do it, and you can do it simply, and you can do it without adding a lot of expensive gear. That's our theory here. Finally, the editing. I did each version with a different editing app. The zero budget version, as I said, was edited with UCut, which is a free app. And it's okay for editing simple clips together, but it doesn't have anything like transitions. I can't fade in from black or dissolve, fade between shots or anything like that. It did have some simple titles, and it did have a simple little music library. I picked music out of their library that was included with the app, stuck it in there. If the music isn't perfect, and it rarely is, you can also add music from your own library if you want. For the low budget version, I used an app called CuteCut, which we recommend. It's like a $6 app. It does have added features like transitions and some things like that. It just has a little bit more capability. Either one of those apps is easy enough to use, but you do need to take time to learn how to do them because every app works with media a little bit differently, trimming clips and saving things and exporting and adding titles. Everyone works a little bit differently, so you can't just pop it open without any practice and edit something in 5 minutes. Take your time to learn them, but you can shoot and edit and upload a little film like this just using your mobile device. So it cuts down on all the complexity and expense of other equipment. For creating simple videos like this, it works quite well. So I hope this was helpful to you. You know, this is my own way of thinking about this. And other directors, filmmakers make different kinds of choices, but you have ideas and your situation is unique. What I want to encourage you to do is just have fun, be creative, and let's just tell great stories. Remember to subscribe if you'd like to this channel and write your comments and questions below, and we'd love to stay in touch with you. Thanks.